Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Andrew Barber, with my co host, Drew Shipley, here on the Hawk's Eye View Instant Reaction Podcast. We're sponsored by Revelton Distillery and Kyle Lehman at Wintrust Mortgage. Thank you to our sponsors. And Drew, that was a wild ride, a roller coaster of everything for me. How about for you?
Uh, when Cade McNamara went out, right? So it was kind of like those sensational movies like Friday Night Lights or Varsity Blues, where I kind of got like flashbacks of what did they do? They just shot up Cade McNamara so he can play until his ultimate demise, Like, should he even be out there? I don't know. Not here nor there. The defense, again, was advertised. Got 4 turnovers today. Cooper DeJean, player of the game by far. Early interception, and then the return touchdown that put him up for good, right? Actually, the first lead of the game, wasn't it? No, that's not true. That's not true. We led 10 10-7 or 10-3 at one point. 10-3, yeah. 10-6, 10-9, whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah. Put him up for good. The running game is still shoddy. The play calling with the running game is what really pisses me off. Like we're running in 160-pound running backs right up the gut instead of getting our playmakers out in space. Like I don't understand why we can't get our playmakers out in space. The most successful runs we had was getting him on the outside, Moulton on the outside the tackles. Were the best runs all day, and until we were icing the football game over. But I don't know. I mean, +2 on the turnover margin. Obviously, the last one was kind of forced, but it's a win. It's a win. That's what it is.
Yep, it's a win. And right before that Cooper DeJean punt return, I just was thinking and saying out loud, man, how cool would it be if he takes this to the house right now?
The announcers were like leading that on all game long. Cooper DeJean, most dangerous man on the field. He had three pick 6 returns for touchdowns last year. And then finally broke one loose, one broken tackle, and he's off to the races, man. That was exciting.
Yeah, in some ways, I feel like I almost willed it to happen in my mind. I feel like I willed it to happen. So, yeah, that's obviously Cooper DeJean, obviously the player of the game, because that interception he had led to a touchdown drive for Iowa too. It was a Deacon Hill touchdown drive, and the stats won't show it because Deacon Hill was 11 for 27, 115 yards, and a touchdown and an interception. But I thought, given the circumstances and having to come in immediate relief and all the drops, which were a huge issue, some of those were, maybe a little bit tough to catch, but certainly were in and out of receivers' hands all night. And I think Deacon Hill did a decent job.
Yeah, I mean, that stat line should have been more like 16 or 17 out of 27 for like $170. Like,
right.
I don't. If it hits you in both hands, that ball should be caught. I don't care where it is on the field.
Yeah.
He's throwing. He's throwing piss rockets. Don't get me wrong. Like there's some fastballs out there.
Yeah.
But you're a Division I wide receiver in space. I mean, there was one contested play maybe where he was going to get jacked up by the defender, middle linebacker there in the middle of the field. But
yeah,
I don't know. Deontay Vines is on my shit list. I'll tell you that because he was culprit number 1.
He was, yeah. But it was a problem for everyone. I mean, Nico dropped one, Caleb Brown dropped one, Vines dropped like 3. So it was a big problem. I think overall the receivers dropped 7 passes, and it all happened after Deacon came in the game. I was incredibly upset at the decision to kick the field goal to make it 16-16, just because Deacon Hill is huge, and we had seen them QB sneak it already, and they only needed 1 yard yet again to kind of seal the game.
How were those 2 guards like 4 yards apart away from the center to just let Deacon Hill, like that was so easy. Like,
yeah.
Didn't pinch down on the center at all. Like, damn well what's happening. 260-pound, quarterback. It's,
Right.
I mean, there was kind of some shades of Nate Stanley in there, especially in that offensive touchdown drive. Arguably the best drive of the season, don't you think?
Yeah, I would say from a quarterback standpoint, I think given the competition and the way that he was able to put the ball on the money, it was also just an amazing play by Eric All to
I mean, the whole
score
drive was
that.
Eric All basically, but yeah,
It was, but yeah, but the touchdown was especially amazing because I think he broke like 3 or 4 tackles
yeah.
and took it to the house. Like he should have been stopped in the backfield and took it to the house instead. So that was an amazing play by him. So, but that's what you need, right? You need a guy who will step up after your starting quarterback goes down like that. And I don't want to speculate, but I don't know as if I don't really feel like we're going to see Cade McNamara again this season.
I don't know if we'll see him play football ever.
Well, I hope not. But yeah, you could be right because of the injury before and now this injury. I mean,
And,
he's already came off a serious ACL before he even got to Iowa.
yeah, I mean, there was a little optimism of the fact that he was on the sidelines after the fact, albeit on crutches, but like he didn't have to go to the hospital and get X-rays or MRIs. Maybe he did, and then
Yeah.
he just didn't want to miss out on the second half. But usually, if you have something fairly serious, you're not coming back on the sideline. Um,
Right.
but again, with that being said, like how I don't know. I think it might have been ignorant to even put him out there today against clearly an inferior team in Michigan State. Um, I did say Thursday on the podcast that their running back Carter was kind of the real deal, and he tore us up a little bit. I know he hit over the 100 mark today. I think he averaged like 6-7 yards a carry, um,
5.4.
5.4.
Yeah.
Um, I mean that's pretty successful against the stingy Iowa defense, right? So
Yeah.
might need to be some things there shored up defensively. I haven't been impressed with the Iowa front four in the last couple of games. Not getting a lot of QB pressure.
Right. And some of that is like the quick passing game that teams are employing, but also they're not getting a lot of pressure in situations where the quarterback's holding it either.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not pressuring the quarterback like they need to, but um, it's good enough, I guess, basically to get the job done.
yeah. I,
Um,
I mean, like you said, we kind of went through a roller coaster of emotions, right? So, like in
mhm,
the third quarter, I didn't believe that this team could win 7 football games
right.
for the season. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know what going down the rest of the schedule at that point in time where you could say you can get to 7. If we go down, fall to 3-2.
right.
I don't know, man. Like the hardest game left I think we have is Rutgers, honestly, and the rest of the West. Rutgers might be the toughest football game left.
Um, I think Wisconsin's pretty good.
Yeah,
I was kind of poo-pooing Wisconsin, but the way that they look, I think they're pretty good, and because that game's in Madison, I think that just makes it a little bit tougher. So, Northwestern looked good for a moment today against Penn State. For a quarter and a half, they looked okay.
yeah.
Uh,
They scored 13 more points than we did against Penn State.
Purdue blew out Illinois today.
Yeah, what's going on
Um,
with Illinois, man? I thought they were a dark horse to win the West, honestly, and
yeah.
just
So,
I don't
well,
know.
I guess I'm a little more concerned about Purdue and Northwestern and Rutgers than I am Illinois or Minnesota. I feel much better about Illinois and Minnesota. So I think 7, 8 wins. I mean, let's hear what the Cade McNamara news is, but I think 7 or 8 wins is pretty realistic with the schedule.
Yeah, if we
Maybe
would have
better.
lost, I would have almost like rooted to win only 6 games, so then Brian doesn't meet either of his contingencies of his contract, right?
Right.
Because 7 wins is also in there. so so if we would have
Yeah.
somehow dropped this game, Cooper DeJean just doesn't pull one out. I mean, I would have almost been rooting for a 6-6 season just out of spite.
Yeah. Uh, um On that note, though, I didn't think the play calling was horrible. Like we mentioned, I think the drops were really bad and set the offense back a bit. I think there was some times where they were too conservative, maybe by running it in situations that I didn't like 2nd and 10 situations. I just don't like running on 2nd and 10 in general, not just for Iowa, any team. I don't really like seeing any team do that. So I'm just I think there was moments that they had that weren't great offensively, but overall I don't think you can blame the lack of offense tonight on Brian himself. I think there was other contributing factors to it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like I said when we first kicked off, I don't care for the way we ran the ball, the way they, why is our little guy, why is Moulton the one running in between the guards, and
Yeah,
LaShawn Daniels who put the ball on the ground again today. Um, that's concerning. I thought he was going to be in the doghouse for like 2 weeks because usually Kirk puts him in the doghouse when they put the ball on the carpet.
right.
So I didn't expect to see him the rest of the game, but then he churned out a couple big first downs there on that final drive. Um, I mean, maybe it's just lack of personnel at this point, right? Jazz
It is.
Patterson's still out, Caleb Johnson's still out. Like, I guess you're going to tote the rock, and it's going to be between the guards with the right guy. So I mean, they did it right there on the final drive.
Yeah, I don't. I think that could be a boost for the offense, right? Is getting Caleb and or Jazz Patterson back, or both back, um, soon. I don't know what the extent of their injuries are. I think they both have injuries going on right
Yep.
now, and I hope they're able to get back for the Wisconsin game because I think this team is good enough to make it through the Purdue game next week and win, most likely without either one of them. It'd be nice to have either one of them back, but I feel like they can make it through next week without them. But really, don't have much of a shot if they need Caleb and Jazz at full strength for the game against Wisconsin. I think
It'll be
personally,
interesting to see what kind of step the offense takes with a full week of Deacon Hill taking the ones, right?
yeah,
So I mean, just getting tossed in there 2 series into the game was pretty tough. I don't care who you playing; it's still a Big Ten game.
right,
Um, so I mean, by and large, he had a serviceable game. Like I'm not mad at Deacon Hill one bit. I mean the one interception that he threw into the double coverage, he didn't see that guy undercut. It was kind of a lame duck, and he kind of got rushed there too. I think he even got a hand in the face, if you want to be technical. Like he might have been not roughing the passer, but whatever, hands to the face. Anyway,
right.
yeah. I mean, that's the one bad throw he made all game. I didn't see him make any other bad throws or bad decisions, but I mean, a lot of GD offensive like 1 yard passes, like whether you dropped them or not. Didn't,
Right.
didn't really didn't really care for that. Let the kid cook, man. Let him rip it down the field for once and see what happens if he has that gun of an arm.
Yeah. I thought the slant play to Seth Anderson was a nice
Holy
play.
cow! Wow, what is that? The first slant all year
Yeah.
in 5 games?
Yeah. Yeah. More of that because I mean, I
Oh,
thought that was
and he even
nice.
and he even caught it with his hands, like with his
R-
hands.
Right. But yeah, like you said, Deacon has the arm to challenge people deep, and so they need to do that. They need to take a chance on it. He's not the most accurate guy, but he's got the strength to challenge people deep. So I feel okay. I guess I'm off the ledge because I was able to find a way to pull off the win. I was about to be on the ledge for a minute there. Um, so I feel good. Any last thoughts before we wrap up and look forward to next week on Thursday?
So no, I mean we move on to Purdue, right? We go to Ross-Ade Stadium next
No,
Saturday.
they come
Or they
here.
come here.
They
Excuse me,
come here.
they come to Iowa City.
Yep.
I mean the last time we played Purdue in Iowa City, that sucked. So uh,
Right.
let's not fall into that trap. Not don't let this don't let this football team stay in the game because I promise you they're better than Michigan State.
Yep.
And they don't have Charlie Jones. They don't have Who was the other wide receiver that transferred there? That
Yeah, they have him. They have him still. Tyrone Tracy. They still have him on
Tyrone
the
Tracy.
roster.
That's it.
They
That's
still
it.
have
So
him on the roster.
so if there's a prop bet out there for Tyrone Tracy over 199 and a half yards receiving, I would probably bet the over on that. just,
I
just because. Uh, um,
uh I wouldn't anymore. Jeff Brom's gone, so I'm not feeling as
that's true. That's
uneasy
yeah,
uneasy about it. But that's all I've got
yeah,
for
man.
tonight. So thank you everyone for listening. Appreciate all of you. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Drew and myself will be back here on Thursday night, this next Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. So I hope you all have a great night. Enjoy the win, and we'll talk to all of you soon.
Go Hawks.
Hawks.